Welcome to Elevate Springfield, where we will dive into strategies and stories that help you rise to your full potential. Each episode, we'll talk about how you can take intentional steps to elevate your life and your business while making a meaningful impact on those around you. Along the way, we're going to bring in the change makers from our community that are already elevating. We'll bring the actionable strategies, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together we can elevate Springfield.
All right, let's go, Springfield. Hey, time to 10x another day, time to crush another morning, crush another afternoon, crush another evening, whatever time you're listening to me right now. It is certainly time to 10x your life and your business. You are listening to the Elevate Springfield podcast. Robert Farrell here, certified 10x coach, speaker, and mentor, here to bring you actionable strategies. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together, that's right, we're going to elevate Springfield. Well, another great Thursday drop from the Big Dog Construction Studio in downtown Springfield. Have two great guests for you today. Might as well call this week Coaching Week, because on Monday I had Tracy Dowell from Springfield Running Center. She was a former coach. Today I've got another coach and trainer in the house, Mr. KJ Kinsella from Illinois Patriots. Really great story there, how he transitioned from education to his current business and how baseball and has shaped his life. So looking forward to help tell his story today. Also, we'll be joined by Ashley Earls from Birth to 5, Illinois, talking about early childhood education in our area, giving you some resources as well. That's part of our Communities Grow Together segment by the David Hilst American Family Insurance Agency, where we discuss all things nonprofits, associations, how we can all work together to elevate our community. We do want to thank our friends over at Custom Property Solutions as well. Anything land related that you have, whether that's forestry mulching, land clearing, lawn care, hardscapes, landscapes, and everything in between, Brandon and his team are going to take care of you with precision and passion. Give Brandon a shout or head over to Custom Property Solutions LLC.com. Hey, before we get to our first guest, want to remind you we've got a couple of great events coming up. Got one through Big Dog Business Coaching next week out at Pole Barn Chic on September 3rd. Great opportunity for you to learn some actionable strategies on how to protect your business and then also how to make your voice heard when it comes to legislation in our state. We're going to have State Representative Mike Coffey joining us. He's going to be part of our expert panel. We're going to have Ryan McCready, CEO of the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance, a part of that panel as well. And Attorney Pat Sheehan right here in Springfield is going to give you a presentation on some actionable things that you can do to make sure you are protecting your business. And we all need to do that. So hope to see y'all there on September 3rd. Got a Facebook event out there. It is a free event. We'll have breakfast and lunch for you. Schedule for the day would be 8:30 to 9 will be light breakfast and networking. 9 to 10 will be that presentation from Pat. 10 to 11 will be the expert panel. And then after 11, we're going to have a networking lunch. So, hey, even if you're crunched on time and can only make it from that 9 to 11, we'd certainly love to have you get this great information from these experts that we're going to have. Check out the Facebook page. You can get all the information there and register for your free ticket. Also, Local First Springfield, we have our annual meeting and fall social coming up on September 18th. If you haven't seen that yet, mark your calendars. Going to be 5 to 7 p.m. over at Jane Hay Sales and Staging on the west side of town, back there behind Harvest Market. Free event. We're going to have food. We're going to have drinks. We're going to have live music. And, of course, we're going to have networking opportunities. So, hey, come on out, see what Local First Springfield is all about. Network with other local businesses. Find those collaboration points like we always talk about. Hope to see you there. September 3rd for the event at Pole Barn Chic. September 18th out at Jane Hay. So we'll see you at both of them. And let's get right to KJ Kinsella. after the break.
Custom Property Solutions transforms land and outdoor spaces throughout Central Illinois with precision and passion. From clearing overgrown brush to crafting stunning patios and fire pits. Need expert lawn care, excavation, or fence row clearing? They've got you covered, safely, efficiently, and on budget. Fully insured and satisfaction guaranteed. Visit CustomPropertySolutionsLLC.com today, where your land meets their passion.
And we are back. Joining me in the studio now, Mr. KJ Kinsella from Illinois Patriots. How we doing today, KJ?
Doing great, Rob. Thanks for having me out today.
Absolutely. Appreciate you coming and spending some time with us here today. Yeah. Looking forward to learning more about the Patriots, but let's learn a little bit about you first. Tell us a little bit about KJ.
Sure. Thanks again, Rob, for having me out, and we'll have some fun out here today.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, so I grew up in Palatine, Illinois. It's a northwest suburb of the Chicago area. And I came down to Springfield, actually, to play baseball at UIS. It wasn't my initial plan, but an injury landed me down in the Springfield area. So I'd never been here before. But when I got to Springfield, it was kind of a match. And I played ball for 2 years and I got injured, and that led me to a different path in life, which is, I'm a big believer of that part of it, of course. I met my wife at UIS too, and kind of here we are. So,
okay. Well, what was the original plan then? You said coming down here was the secondary plan, or plan B, I guess. What was the original plan?
Well, I had a couple other colleges I was talking to about baseball, about where I might play. Maybe it was somewhere in Bloomington, maybe it was somewhere in Wisconsin. But so when I got injured, I had some nerve damage in my throwing hand. My options became rather limited, and I went with what was still on the table for me, and it brought me here, and it was the right match. I didn't really know exactly school-wise what I was looking for at that point. I didn't know career-wise where I totally stood. I thought education, maybe. Business ownership wasn't something I really had in mind at that point in time. Dad is a lifelong small business guy. My mom is a social worker. But I guess, I kind of ended somewhere in between there.
Okay. What positions did you play growing up? What were you into?
So I'm left-handed. So, it was pretty limited for me. A lot of pitching. That was kind of my primary thing.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to face a lefty growing up. Nobody wanted that.
And I was kind of one of those goofy kids that, I've been this size since I was 12 or 13 years old. So kind of as I got older, everyone caught up to me a little bit. And but so I pitched a lot. I played a lot of first base. And then I played some outfield as I got a little bit older too. They had to put taller kids at first. But yeah, I got to jump around the diamond and play with a lot of good teams growing up, a lot of great teammates. And, really the things I remember the most is my teammates. And I'll touch more on that later as we talk about the Patriots. But yeah, baseball has been really good to me as far as a player goes. And it's brought me to a different world now here.
Any fun runs that you had on any of the teams that you played on?
I had a summer team that we were pretty good. I got to play with a lot of guys that were a lot better than me. We went on a streak in a summer one point in time of probably 15-ish in a row. And we won some fun tournaments. And so we had a lot of fun together. We played together for a few summers, and a lot of those guys too were just so skilled. I mean, they didn't have to think about it. They didn't really have to work at it that, hard, and they were just fun, good teammates. My high school that I played at was Fremd High School, and we had a pretty tight-knit group of guys that played together since we were 8 years old, and I'm still in touch with today. So those were some good runs we had. In college at UIS for my 2 seasons, I was years 2 and 3 of the baseball program even being a thing.
Oh, okay.
So we were a little rough around the edges, is what we'll call it at that point in time. But that was part of the charm of what we were doing there. So
when you were in Palatine, there's some large schools up there. Were you at a large high school, or were you in more of a smaller high school?
It was a big high school. Yeah, it was a big high school. So my wife growing up here in this area, she's a Williamsville High School grad.
Yeah, so different world.
Yeah. And, when we talk about graduating classes and things like that, it's a whole different universe, from what she grew up in versus what I grew up in. And there's charm to both sides of it, of course. So, but I stayed here for a reason, because I like the style down here.
Was it pretty competitive baseball wise up there?
Yeah. One of the big baseball things I see in the Chicago area versus here is the best of the best is equal, if that makes sense. And I try to explain this to people all the time. A Central Illinois baseball versus Chicago area baseball, the margin between the elites is really none. there's just a lot more depth up there.
Sure.
As far as the average guy, the 15th man on a roster, they're going to be pretty darn good up there. Whereas here, of course, you're going to have those crazy rosters as well. But, the baseball depth is pretty significant up there.
So after your time at UIS, what was next? You're a business owner now, but what was there right after college?
Yeah, so, it kind of started while I was in college, and I didn't even really know it at the time of what I was doing. But I went in and I became an education major. I was going to teach social studies. And my senior year, I was observing classes at Lanphier High School, which led to me being introduced to the head baseball coach there. His name's Danny Mediri. At the time, he was the coach. To this day, we're still extremely close friends, and he is a coach for the Patriots still. So that kept me in the baseball game, got me into a school building, and got me into coaching. So I'm 21 years old at that point, coaching varsity baseball, which I'm extremely fortunate to have.
That's young to be coaching varsity ball at that
I was
time.
very lucky. Yeah, I was very lucky. The timing was there, and they needed a guy that had some pitching experience. So I was blessed with that opportunity pretty early on. That led to me doing a lot of individual training as well at local parks. I worked at the hitting center briefly. Those guys were really good to me as far as getting into that universe of baseball training. And then I went on to start teaching. So I was teaching, coaching, doing some individual training, but I didn't at the time view baseball as like, this is what I'm going to do. It was a side thing for me. I was just enjoying being around the game in a different font is what I call it. I still kind of thought I was a player, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
21 years old, 22 years old. I still wanted to get out there and mess with the guys. And I'm probably a little different now than, when I was at that age. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. So do you still feel that way, or have you transitioned from?
There's moments when I still feel like a kid out there, and I hope that lasts forever, because that's why I like doing it still. I'm fortunate to be around the game is what I always say.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely the older guy, out there now when I'm out with my 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds.
Right.
Whereas I used to be kind of young, fun, run around, run circles around you, coach. And now I'm like, yeah, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm just the balding guy. So, yeah, it's all right.
It's crazy how it kind of brings you back. I mean, it makes you feel like a kid again. I played in the Horseshoes, the Legends game a couple of weeks ago, and I hadn't played baseball in 25 years, right? And I was okay when I was growing up, but I haven't went against an actual pitcher in 25 years.
Yeah.
And of course, I struck out and everything, but even out in the field, you just feel like a kid again. It's just kind of comes right back to you.
And there's some sort of magic to the game,
Yeah.
And I think that, Americana, knows that as a whole. This is what baseball is. It's the pastime. And whether you were the best player or not, I think the magic of the ballpark is there for everybody. As my son, he's 4 years old now, and I got to see him out at a Horseshoes game this year. And seeing him out there with kind of like the twinkle in his eye, and I'm like, whether he plays it or doesn't play it, I hope he just loves the magic of it.
Right.
So when you talk about the classics, like being out at the Legends game, an amazing experience for people to be around and enjoy baseball in this area.
It was so fun for me to sit in the dugout with the former players and everything, just hanging out. I was like, I don't care if I get a hit or.
And they're just regular guys. Yeah.
Yeah. My older daughter, we go to a lot of Horseshoes games, and she always says it like, just feels like summer.
Yep.
Going to a ball game just feels like summer.
That's how it should be.
Right.
That's how it should be. Yeah.
So you spent some time in education. When did you make the transition to, hey, I'm going to do this full time, and then talk to us a little more about what you do with Illinois Patriots?
Sure. Yeah. So, I taught full time for 6 years, and I actually got my license to go be a principal. And I wasn't sure, by the last year that I knew I probably wasn't going to do that, but I had gone far enough into the education process to get it
Might
done.
as well finish, right?
Yeah. So I was working, teacher hours from 7:30 to 3 or whatever. And then I was going to work on my business, basically the start of the Patriots. For the 4 or 5 years they overlapped with me teaching and running the business. Yeah, I was working 13, 14-hour days pretty frequently, which, whether it's good or bad, it's what I had to do to make it happen. And my wife was pregnant with our son, Miles. And the last year of teaching, I just knew it was time. We decided as a family it was going to be best for her to stay home with our kids while they're young. We were at least going to try it. And that last year, I just knew. It's not that I was necessarily burnt out, but I wasn't reaching the level of passion that I needed to be at in order to really bring it for my kids every day. So I had to pick, and I picked baseball, of course, running the Illinois Patriots. And I had already been doing it for a while, so I knew what I was doing, but I figured I could probably grow myself as an instructor and as a coach and as a business owner. And about to be a dad, I needed to be around some more. So that's when I made the decision. It was time to get into the Patriots a little bit more.
Absolutely. Best decision you've ever made?
Yeah, no regrets here. I still teach a little bit out at Sangamon County Learning Academy, just a couple days a week. I really enjoy that population of alternative students. But, going into business ownership, again, it wasn't even what I planned on. I don't have any degrees in anything in that realm, but growing up in a household with small business background, getting into the Patriots was just the right mix for me. One of my professional goals was to reach as many lives as I could. And teaching and coaching were both good comparisons of that.
Yeah, you can definitely do that with that.
In the coaching world, I could do it however I wanted. As I said, hey, if I need to, bug this parent late at night because I thought about little Johnny doing something, I can. It's just, especially in the private travel baseball world, I can go the way I want with different situations that we have to handle is what we'll call it. So
yeah, and when you're in education, you're really following a model. You're following somebody else's model necessarily. You have certain things you can do, but you still are following a model for the most part.
Exactly.
So,
and it's not a knock on education at all because I love it and teachers are amazing. But if I could do things my own way, I really wanted to. So it grew into, something where I had one team the first year. I had 6 teams the second year that played under the Illinois Patriots name. And ever since 2017, we've had anywhere from 6 to 8 or 9, and this year we have 10 teams. It just really came into its own, is what I'll say. A big part of that growth process was having these incredible coaches that wanted to be a part of it. Running the business, I'll do most of the management stuff. I'll do the finances. I'll do the building upkeep. I'll clean the toilet, whatever. I'll do anything as a small business owner.
As a business owner, you're going to do everything. Yeah.
But the guys that are coaching in the program are really what have made this thing super special too. It doesn't happen without a good staff. So
no doubt about it. So you said 6, 8, however many teams. Those are all travel teams playing under your umbrella.
Correct.
Tell us how that works.
Yeah. So the way that it works is we have tryouts as a program every year for the 15 and under teams. So we'll have a 10-year-old team, an 11-year-old team, a 12-year-old team, and so forth. Kind of way that works then is I'm at the forefront of all of it. I'll handle all the communications with the parents as far as schedules, practices, fees being due, just things like that. And then we'll have a head coach for each team, which is a paid guy for us. There are incredible dad coaches out there. We've decided to go the route of having paid experienced coaches be at the front of each team. So I handle all the management parts of it. And then going forward, once they're in the season, the coach is in charge from there. So each year, we evaluate where we're at as far as what we need at each level when it comes to tryouts. Are we meeting our goals as far as how we want to service these kids? Is the coach comfortable with how things went last year? And we kind of get together and see where we're at with all that stuff every single season.
So how do you find your coaches? Are they former players or where do they come from?
Yeah, so we've got a mix. One of the guys I mentioned earlier, Danny Madiri, I met at Lanphier, and he played college ball here growing up. So he's a local guy. So he's been with us forever. And I've got 4 or 5 other guys that have been around pretty much since the start, close to it at least. Some of them are former players of ours that are coming back through the chute now. And so they're my young, cool coaches now.
Sure.
And that's where I'm the old guy now.
Right.
So that's okay.
All of a sudden, the old guy. Crazy how that happened. Right?
Yeah, it happened fast too. And, I used to think that I was going to be that guy forever and not the old guy out there, like the super old guy, but I'm not the young, cool guy anymore.
Well, and especially in the sports realm, you're quote unquote older quicker in the sports realm than you are in other areas.
Absolutely. And I'm just fortunate to have these guys that want to stick around in the coaching world because we're a tight-knit group. The coaches get together. We do things in the winter. We do things in the summer. We celebrate the highs and lows together. And being able to sort of be at, the front of that is just something that I'm really, really fortunate to do. It's something I didn't picture it being what I was going to do, but this is my life sometimes. And I have to pinch myself that this is pretty cool. But having the people involved is what makes it special.
So the teams, are they just primarily playing in tournaments, just getting in tournaments, or is there a league?
Really good question. So essentially what it looks like to be in the Illinois Patriots is we'll have tryouts in July if you accept a spot on the team. You're not going to hear a whole lot from us for the next couple months. Go be kids, go do something else. We don't do a lot of fall baseball stuff. But once winter comes around, we start practicing. And the way our practices look is we have all of our different coaches involved at every age group. So my goal is for a 12-year-old player to know every single coach that we have on the staff because they all have something else to offer.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Different strengths. I am not the strongest in some areas when it comes to instruction. That's why we have other guys that do it. So we'll go through the winter like that with all of our teams. Once spring comes around, the high school guys go play high school baseball, which is what they should do. So we're big advocates of being invested in your high school program. So go play with those guys. We'll see you in June pretty much. With the younger teams, they're going to start playing local games. Maybe they'll travel 30 to 45 minutes to play some other area teams, and then they'll play tournaments. So a combination is what we go for. But we are not a program that plays 75, 80 games each season. We never will be. It's the exact problem, in my opinion, of what's going on with youth sports is not enough practice and too many games. So we will continue to practice while we're in season. And I think it's important that the kids miss it a little bit. It's because if they have a game every single night, they're not going to miss it and they're not going to want to be there the next day.
Right. It almost turns into a job at that point, doesn't it?
Correct.
Right.
And a lot of us know that, right? We know that feeling. So when we overdo it on the fun side, the game side, is it really a game anymore or is it a chore? So we go through the season, they play. Each year, the kids do have to try out to remain in the program. It's how we have created this non-political feel to what we do. And then we have to make hard decisions every season. And there's never been a cut that we have felt good about making. And traditionally, we don't make a ton of them. It just depends what needs to happen that year. I think it's important that kids learn what's fair early on too, and whether they should or shouldn't make it. But our tryout numbers have been pretty good the last few years. And one of the things I really look at each year is how many kids want to return. So whether we're taking them all or not, but what percentage of those kids want to come back and
that's a
play
big
for
metric.
us.
Yeah.
It's something I really care about. And we're usually around 90 to 95% want to return. And that's a testament to my coaches that really are out there with them. And I still coach too, and I'll get into that later, but that's the coaches doing it out on the field with those guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that tryout, it's good for them to have that stressor, to have that hard thing that they have to try to do.
It's important. It's important.
No doubt about it. So how's the new sports complex going to affect your business?
I'm definitely optimistic about it. I think it's going to do nothing but bring people here, which is awesome. I'm kind of a wait and see what happens a little bit type of guy in that universe of let's see what the tournament structures look like. Let's see what the league structures look like. I'm definitely going to tap into it a little bit as it comes through, but I want to see, does it fit my guys? Does it fit my kids? Is it reasonable for what we're trying to do? But the option to be able to be at home and play more, we're not going to argue with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was going to say, you'd be able to stay home a little bit more, right?
From that perspective, I couldn't be happier about it. And the people at the front of that have just been so diligent about it. And it's exciting for the area, no matter what angle you look at it at.
So your clients are your players and the parents, right? So how do you feel you guys elevate those folks to grow and become better?
So, in my universe and an approach I really started to take 5 or 6 years ago is when I'm dealing with parents, I'm dealing with their most valuable thing in their life, their child. And so when I am working with their child, whether they're 17 or if they're 10, it's still their baby either way. So to me, a big part of that is, what am I doing for them that's unique? So how am I servicing them in a way that they feel I'm not just cashing their checks? To me, it's going the extra mile and it's really getting in there and caring about them as a human. I've taken a very, I call it medium-sized program approach to what we do, because when someone walks in my doors, I need to know who they are. I need to know mom and dad. I need to know what school they go to. I need to know them as a person, what they like, what they care about. So when I'm trying to help a kid reach their goals, if I don't really know who they are, I've lost who I am and what I want business to be for me. So keeping that relationship between parent and player, you got to have both. When they're on the field, they're ours. Parents, stay away. Like that's kind of the world it is. But when it comes to the development process, especially for a kid that might be individually training with me, tell me what's going on. Show me a video. Learn what this expression means from this kid. That's just part of coaching, and just being able to actually care about the individual is kind of the way I view that.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit more about the development and training side that you do.
Yeah. So the Patriots are my team side of it, where we've been for a while. And then I do a lot of individual instruction as well. So I work with players that are, anywhere from, I'll go as low as about 9 years old, to light professionals and a lot of college guys.
Okay.
My specialty area is probably pitching, arm care, velocity, growth, things like that. And I'll work anywhere from a basis of 15 to 20 kids a week, sometimes a little bit more. But people will come in and train individually with me. Some guys are year round. Some of them are right before the season. Some of them are in the middle of the season. It just depends. But each kid needs something different on the individual training perspective, and you have to figure out what that thing is for them.
Right.
If you're just teaching the same thing to every single person, it's not going to work. You can have an outline of what you like when it comes to individual training. Like, I really like taking this angle to this type of situation.
Sure.
However, if you do that for every single player, you're not going to reach their individual potential.
Right. Yeah. You're going to miss with any type of coaching. You got to be able to solidify and clarify those goals, that end goal, where we're trying to get to, and then come up with an individual plan to get there.
Absolutely.
Right? So how do you do that with your kids there?
Yeah, it's one of those things I definitely will say I think I've gotten better as I've done more of it, of just seeing body language with a kid and understanding he doesn't know what I just said because he's leaning this way and he's thinking about this. And you really just learn to understand the way that players think when it comes to how they're processing words from a coach or from a teacher or from a parent. You just learn kids a little bit more too. So I really try to make sure that I have a relationship with that player. The baseball part is super important, but if they don't feel they can actually connect with me, the communication's not going to be as strong.
Right.
When they come in and they're looking forward to spending time with me, then the whole outlook of what we're doing together changes. It's no longer just this is this guy telling me what to do. It's man, he cares about me and he wants me to do well and he wants to see me grow because I do. And that's a big part of what is fun in coaching and doing individual training as well as seeing kids grow and meet their goals. There's nothing better.
That's one of the greatest things. Any type of coach, educator, that's the best. That's the thing.
That's
right?
why we're in this. It's why we're in this universe, right? Is to see people succeed. And if you can't find, I tell my players this all the time. If you can't find joy in other people's success, then one, life is going to be really hard, and two, baseball is probably not going to be for you because it's already a game of failure.
Right.
So you got to find joy in other places of the game. So seeing kids understand their growth and having those light bulb moments of like, wow, that clicked and I did it. It's the most gratifying part of what we do.
So you think the education background came in handy working with parents, especially?
Yeah, it definitely did. And, I think even some of like the individualized instruction stuff, that's teacher talk there. And those are things that I think the big man was looking out for me when he taught me some of that stuff of going into these education courses and learn about some of this stuff. I think some of it, maybe I just think like a kid sometimes too, of knowing how they want to do things and whatever. But the teaching background definitely helped me go about working with kids and how to get into their minds a little bit and just how to handle different situations. Because parents are a positive thing most of the time for me. People hear about parents and youth sports, and you can go about it in multiple different ways. Set some boundaries, of course, but build a relationship so they respect what you're doing too. You can't just be the guy that doesn't talk to anybody,
right?
And you have to be approachable because people will respect that more, in my opinion.
How was the industry change? Did you do any travel ball when you were younger?
I did.
So
yeah.
How has it changed? I know you said you're older, but you're not that old.
I've been out of it for a little while.
You've been out of it for a little bit. So
yeah.
How has it changed since when you did travel ball compared to how it is now? I mean, it's the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, so travel baseball used to be significantly more select, is what we'll call it. And you'll hear a lot of people these days say that there's no rec baseball anymore, and there's really not a lot of rec baseball. And people will make it sound like it's the worst thing in the universe. And I have mixed feelings on that, because at the end of the day, if people want to complain about everyone plays travel baseball now, so it's not that special. The way I kind of look at it is, well, you got a family at a tournament together instead of like little Johnny's upstairs playing Xbox, his sister's over here, dad's doing his own thing. You got people coming together because of travel baseball. So I view that as a positive, as far as there is a lot more travel ball than there used to be. Rec baseball, it's not as desired right now, I guess, because it has become, a situation where you're either playing travel or you're not to some extent. And again, I don't love that, but it is what it is. And I think it is a positive experience for kids being able to go out and play. And it is more available than it used to be for people. But, I think people play more games than they used to, and they don't practice as much as they used to. And I touched on that earlier. That's a core value of mine of you don't need to play too many games.
Right.
You can play travel baseball. Just keep it realistic. The ones that are playing 70 or 80 games, they're probably not as into it come high school.
No, I can't imagine they would.
It's a burnout factor, and games need to be special for people. So travel baseball, it's definitely more available for people. Some of it's over the top. We try to be the very realistic approach. From what I did growing up, it's comparable to the model that I do run now. Maybe I thought that it was a good fit, so I took portions of it.
What you did, right?
We kind of went with it.
So earlier you said, from where you started to how many teams you have now, you've seen some good growth over the years. So what are some strategies you put in place to get that growth?
Being open-minded to doing things differently is super important. I have pieces of the business that I still run the same way that I did when I was 22 years old. Every year I change something. If you're going at your business at the same exact angle and approach every single year, you're not going to grow. And people are going to notice that. And people that you want to be around a long time, they will fall away. So being open to growth, super important. Another big, principle that I've taken on the self-employment factor and running a small business this whole time is be comfortable betting on yourself. Be confident. And not everyone has that complete natural confidence. And I lack it at times, of course, too, but you got to dig in there and be competitive. If you're not willing to be competitive and bet on yourself, then your players are going to feel that. The people around you, as far as the business goes, are going to feel that. And it's contagious. If you look confident, even if you're not at that
even
moment,
if you're not feeling it in there,
people are going to know. People are going to know. And, I think back to my childhood, and I can still feel the confidence that my parents and my sister and now my wife and my kids have in me. And I hope that bleeds through my business a little bit. So sharpen your knife, do something different, like be willing to go out on a limb and be uncomfortable for a little bit.
I love it. So what do you do to stay sharp, to sharpen that knife on the personal side?
Sure. I think kind of one of the funny things right now is I've got a 4-year-old and an almost 2-year-old. So there's some, and you can obviously relate to this as being a young father, at one point in time with the little kids, I don't want to say you lose yourself, but who am I? Like, what am I doing? I really enjoy going to coaching conferences, being around these guys that are smarter than me and have done it longer than me, learning from them. Super important. Listen to people, kind of get out there, ask questions that to people that have done more of this stuff than I have, whether it's different college guys. I'm fortunate to volunteer at UIS as well with the baseball team there. And there's a couple guys on staff that are way better than me at certain things. So I ask them a lot of questions. But on my side of things, every year I kind of step back and I look at, where were we successful and where were we not? And I think reflection has become a significantly stronger part of what I've done, whether it's each day, week, month, or year. So that is something that I take pride in, as far as being able to see us grow, see myself grow as well.
How much do you still get on the field and play yourself?
Once in a while I'll get out there and I'll mess around with the guys. And it's one of these things now where I got to protect this thing because I still throw a lot with instruction and whatnot. So I'll treat this thing as like I got to take care of it as opposed to screwing around the way I used to.
Sure.
But if we're taking BP out on the field, I'll pick it up once in a while and go take some hacks.
There you go.
I have to, and especially with the younger ones, they'll kind of leg it on enough. Like, come on, coach, like you can't do it. You got to remind them once in a while.
So those coaching conferences, where are those normally at?
There's one coming up in Columbus this year. It's a big one. I'm looking forward to that. That's a 4-day venture out there, and you're just with other baseball guys.
That's great, isn't it? I mean, getting into your industry, getting out of your town for a little bit, meeting up with all these people that are out there striving, hitting it, trying to get after it, just like you are.
Open-minded people, right? I mean, like if you're with people that are just going to be, well, this is just how we do it type of people. Well, that's not going to work.
Right.
Because the game's going to keep changing and business keeps changing too. So you have to change with it. So there's one there I'll be going to this year. There's a really good one in Greenville, Illinois too. It's a smaller gig, but it's pretty close to home. So I've tried to go to that as many times as I can. It just kind of depends. If you look across the country, there's various ones. Right now, I'm not able to attend quite as many as I would like to, because I do pride myself in being a very present father and husband. In the way I run my business, I'm either there or I'm with my family and my friends. I still get to see once in a while, but you choose some what's important stuff. And so I'll be attending more conferences as I get a little bit older and a little bit more freedom. But those are the kind of the primary ones right now.
Yeah, no, that's the life of the small business owner, man. You run your business and you be with your family. That's what you do.
That's how it is. And I'm thankful for that. It's one of those things that, again, I didn't necessarily envision for myself, but when things come together, you go with it.
So anything on tap? What's next for Illinois Patriots?
Yeah, so Patriots, man, it's one of those things where, the reflection part I was just talking about, each year we look at it a little bit differently. We do have something in the works that, I'm kind of holding back for the time being. But, this year we grew to 10 teams and we had 8 the year before. 10 is a new number for us. And I was mentioning earlier, I take a lot of pride in being a medium-sized program. Or we don't have 3 teams, but we don't have 40 teams. But 10 is kind of a new number for us. I'm comfortable maybe going up to 12 in the future, but I'll never force it, if that makes sense.
Right.
If we hit a point of there's too many people, and I don't know who they are, or maybe the quality isn't justifiable, then that doesn't work there.
Right.
So 10 teams is new for us. So that'll be kind of a different realm of making sure that we are giving the same level of attention to each team, each kid, making sure we staff it properly is a big part of that too. So that'll be a new venture for the Patriots this year. And overall, the idea is let's keep developing kids. Let's keep pushing kids to college baseball. We've hit a point now of over 60 kids have graduated through our program to go on to play college baseball.
It's awesome, man.
It's really fun. And again, that's a testament to, not just what I'm a minimal part of this, right? It's the guys that are doing it on the ground, working with guys. And so it's a really fun accomplishment to see them go out there and do that. And on the flip side of it too is the 60 plus kids, we only have one graduating class per year. We don't have 7 teams graduating at 18 years. So the ratio of kids going on to play is pretty good. So that is a proud moment for the program. And it's a huge testimony to the kids and to the families that stick with it and they work. So continuing to kind of give those guys that opportunity is the forefront of what we will continue to do here.
Yeah. So a second ago, you said developing. Would you say that's your core purpose is develop kids?
Yeah. If we're known for anything in the area, I would hope that it's the kids went there and first they had fun, because if they're not having fun, like what are we doing, right? But they need to be developing not just as players, but as humans. And I think that that's really the core of what we do and who we are, because there's going to be teams that win more than us in the area, and they're going to bring home more plastic trophies than us. And, and we're going to celebrate when we do it, of course, but it's not the focal point of who we are, and it never will be. Because the perspective of myself and the guys that coach for us is we know the big picture, and we're focused on what is going to help these kids advance forward, not just as players, but in life as a whole. So that is something we take quite a bit of pride in and will continue to forever.
All right, KJ. Well, we always end with these last couple of things. We've had a lot of great takeaways so far, but give us one more on the personal side. one more on the professional side to help folks elevate their life or business.
Sure. On the personal side, just continue to be your biggest advocate and believe in yourself. If things get tough, don't quit right away. I mean, I think a lot of the time we're in a world right now where people are very much, well, it didn't work, so I got to try something else. Stick with it. Yeah, I'm not saying that I did everything right, and I'm not going to do everything right. But putting in, the 5 to 6 years where I was teaching and building a business, I don't regret a second of it because it's put me in a position to do what I love for a living. So continue to invest in yourself and believe in yourself. On the professional side, find joy in other people's success, like I mentioned earlier, and build relationships. The relationships that, I've created through the years with all these different families and all these different coaches in the area, state, whatever, it's the best part of what we do. And being able to pick up the phone, and talk to this guy because I had a question. I know that he ran this type of business before. It's because there is a relationship there. And when you invest in other people and you care about other people, life is significantly more gratifying.
Love it. Is there anything we can do community-wide to help all of us elevate Springfield and the surrounding communities?
My biggest thing, invest in kids. People always say kids are the future. And, it's cliche.
Right.
We're all part of the future, of course. But when we are investing in our children at a younger age to help them believe in themselves, whether it's baseball, whether it's music, whether it's art, opportunity for kids is the most important thing. Challenge them, open their brains, be present as mom and dad. Super important, in my opinion. So when we believe in the kids as parents, we're also going to grow as humans. So anything you can do to support kids around this area, around the world, it's number one, because we are a better community when our kids are busy and when they go to bed tired. I tell people that all the time. You should be going to bed tired. If you're not tired, you probably didn't do enough.
Didn't do enough.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, if somebody's wanting to do some business with you, maybe come try out for one of the teams. Yeah. Where do people go to find out more about you?
Yeah, if you go to Illinois Patriots baseball, you'll find us online there. You'll find my contact info as well. You can find us on Facebook too, of course. We've got a page up there. We actually have a golf outing coming up too. Cool. That's a fun thing that we do. It's just a fundraiser to buy equipment for the kids. Building enhancements, things like that. So if anyone wants to play some golf, we'll be out there on October 4th at Edgewood Golf Course. But all the information will be posted on our site as well.
Very cool. Well, KJ, appreciate you spending the afternoon with you, my man. Good catching up with you.
Rob, thanks for having me out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, we're going to let KJ get back to developing those kids and elevating Springfield. But for the rest of y'all, we'll be right back.
Looking for expert tree care with hometown integrity? Look no further than Sangamon Tree Service. They're your trusted local pros, delivering quality workmanship, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing every time. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, their team brings professionalism and care to every job, big or small. Call the name your neighbors trust, Sangamon Tree Service, or visit them today at sangamontreeservice.com. Sangamon Tree Service, rooted in quality, built on trust.
All right, how about KJ? Phenomenal stuff, right? Impacting kids in our community day in and day out. Not only developing them as ball players, but developing them as good human beings. So much phenomenal takeaways from there. Let's take a few minutes like we always do and look at it through a 10X lens. One thing KJ mentioned was being unique in how he approaches his clients, his kids, and his parents, right? Said that he doesn't want the parents to just think, hey, he's cashing the paycheck, right? So he wants to be unique by his actions and go the extra mile. We talk about that a lot. When you go the extra mile, that makes you unique by your actions, makes you that dependable person. So where in your life right now can you go the extra mile for your family? Where can you go the extra mile for your clients? Where can you go the extra mile for your coworkers, for your community, for everyone? Because I tell you, it's great for all those people when you go the extra mile, right? But really, it's awesome and phenomenal for you because it creates this motivation within you. It creates this confidence within you that you can handle everything and more. So make a habit every day to go the extra mile. Do a little bit more. Hey, maybe it's add 10% to everything you do. You're doing push-ups in the morning to work out. You normally do 20, do 22. Right? Add 10% to everything you do. Go that extra mile for everyone. And that's one way you can make yourself unique by your actions. We also talked about building relationships with the kids that are on the team. That's very, very important when you're working with kids, but it's also very important when you're working with adults too. When you have a great relationship with somebody, you have that understanding, you're more likely to be able to help them and grow them, especially when you're in a coaching scenario. And on top of that, it allows you to gain buy-in from them as well. Because when they trust you, they're going to be more likely to try what you are instructing them to do. KJ also talked about individual training. I talk a lot about that in the 10X world. In our coaching business, that's primarily what we do. We develop individual training plans for people based on their goals. And that's what we talked about with KJ. Hey, big thing with coaching is clarify that end result. Where are we trying to get to? What goal do we have? Is it more revenue for the business? Is it an exit strategy? Is it scaling? What is it? What's that goal? What is that personal, professional, or financial goal? And then let's come up with an individual plan to get there. At Big Dog Business Coaching, we do work with individuals and businesses alike. That's something you would be interested in discussing, give me a shout on social or head over to the website, bigdogbc.com, and we could create one of those individual coaching plans for you. Another big one that I love, and I've probably said 100 times, is be uncomfortable. Be comfortable being uncomfortable, right? He talked about that. That is super important in everything, because when you're uncomfortable, you grow, you stretch, you find new ways to do things. If you're too comfortable, you stay stagnant, or even worse, you fall backwards in your skills. So, hey, stay uncomfortable. Say yes to things, even if they make you uncomfortable at first, because those are the places, those are those little things that are going to allow you to grow in your industry, grow in your skill set, and grow in your life in general. So, hey, get comfortable being uncomfortable. One of the other things he mentioned was how he's going to more conferences, and he's trying to get to more conferences. Talk about that a lot too. Got to get out there. Got to be around those people that are hitting, that are winning, that are striving, right? So conferences are a good place to do that. We have a number of those right here in Springfield. Silsa has one coming up. They got the Silsa Summit. We have different workshops, different seminars that we can attend. Take advantage of those that are right here in town. But then also go to the bigger ones that are outside of Springfield. Go to the ones where everybody from all over the country are getting together to talk about your specific industry, what's going right, what's going wrong. You're going to gain a lot of insight from that. And from my experience, a lot of the people that are there are highly motivated and very much interested in discussing the successes they've had and the failures they've had, and you can gain a lot of insight from that. So a lot of great stuff from KJ. We're going to have another edition of the Communities Grow Together segment right after the break. Looking for personalized insurance with hometown care? David Hilst, American Family Insurance Agents, here to help you protect what matters most: your family, your home, and your dreams. Whether it's auto, home, life, business, David and his team are proud to serve the Springfield community with trusted advice and reliable coverage. Local service, real relationships, peace of mind. Call today or stop by their office. They can build your dream protection plan together. Call 217-726-6343. All right, and we are back with another edition of the Communities Grow Together segment. My guest today, Ashley Earls from the Birth to 5 Illinois program. How are you doing, Ashley?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having us here.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. I'm excited to learn more about this. I really don't know very much about it, so I'm excited to learn today along with the audience. All
Yeah.
right? Before we get to that, just tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah. So I have been with Birth to 5 Illinois now since it began, so 3 years. And before that, I've been in early childhood. I've been with a few different nonprofits. I've also been in social work. I've done marketing. I mean, you really kind of name it, I've done it. So I've had multiple different hats. And that's really set me up to be successful with Birth to 5 Illinois. I like to say that this is my sweet spot. And it really focuses on my why in general, like my personal why and my professional why. I love being a connector. I like connecting people to the information that they need, connecting individuals to the resources that they need. So, this has really been my dream job, and it's been extremely successful for our region. And yeah, I'm excited to be here today to share more about the successes that we've had with Birth to Five Illinois, Region 51, which does cover Menard and Sangamon counties.
So has that always been your why, being that connector?
It has. I have been doing Y work for the past 5 years now. Not going to lie, I love Simon Sinek a lot.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, I know. And so I've been growing my why now for, like I said, the past 5 years. And so when this position came up and was brought to me, immediately I was like, I have been searching for this my whole life. And so this just like coincided immediately. And just excited to be in this position and continue to see where we can go as Birth to Five Illinois, because it's amazing. We are statewide, and more people are understanding what we do and how we do it, and that it takes the entire community to make this action happen within our region. So we collaborate with the Regional Office of Education. So there's 39 of us across the state doing this impactful work to make sure that our families and our community and our children have access to early education and mental and behavioral health services.
Okay. So let's dig into that a little bit. You said it's only 3 years old now, and it's a statewide initiative. All right. So what is it? What is the initiative, and what was the impetus to it starting 3 years ago?
So it did come out of the governor's commission report, wanting to have this better understanding of what is working really well and what are those gaps, and then how can we fill those gaps with what is working well. And then what we were able to do with that is form family councils. So parents and caregivers that have a child under the age of 8. And then also action council members that have this passion to want to better their communities. And they have different backgrounds. They can be elected officials, they can be early childhood professionals, they can be business owners too. And so all these individuals are coming together and having this better understanding of how can we make these changes within our community. Then in addition to, we are also out in community gathering multiple different stories from additional community partners, from additional families and caregivers, and then taking this information to continue to make changes. And we did that with a regional needs assessments on early childhood and mental behavioral health. But then from there, we've been able to take true action with our action plans. And they've developed recommendations around early childhood and mental and behavioral health.
Okay. So what's the overall goal of Birth to Five Illinois?
So the overall goal is to really make sure that our families and children have quality and inclusive early childhood services, and now access to mental and behavioral health services for birth to age 5-year-olds.
Okay. And how do you guys put that into practice? You talk about being a connector. How do you connect folks with those services?
Absolutely. So it's really been through the work of the action plans that our council members have been doing and with our community partners. And it's with those needs that they found. So one of our recommendations that was identified after learning that in about 3 years, we are going to be in a situation where we have multiple different individuals within the early childhood profession that are at a retirement age. And we don't have youth that are actually wanting to go into the profession. So they decided they were coming up with a recommendation for a better workforce pipeline for early childhood. So that's one of the recommendations they've been diligently working on, and it takes multiple community partners to make that happen. So we've got school districts we're working with, Capital Area Career Center, Lincoln Land Community College. An amazing action has happened with that. We were able to reach almost 200 students, 3 school districts, Capital Area, and help them get more youth enrolled within their preschool lab. It's work like that that's been beautiful to see when all the partners come come and have these conversations to be able to move that work.
How important is that to really to move the needle in terms of getting more people into the profession, going at it from that earlier age with getting these preschool programs and everything going? How important is that?
It's extremely important. And I'm really glad that you brought that up because one of the things that we found out having these conversations and gathering all these stories is that we have in Sangamon and Menard counties over 13,000 birth to age 5 year olds within our communities. However, there's over 5,000 of them that if they wanted to have a seat within a classroom, within an early learning childcare program, there's not a seat for them,
Right.
right? Regardless if that means the childcare program isn't built for them to go to, there's not a teacher in that room. And so it's extremely important for us to have this better workforce pipeline and going younger with our junior high and high school students to let them know if there is a barrier for you to go into this workforce, this is how it can be eliminated. These are the scholarships, but then also working with those that are already in the field to let them know this is potentially how we can educate you to help eliminate workforce burnout. And then also different ways that you can potentially get some additional funding for you, different scholarships that to help them better their education too. So that has been extremely important for our community.
Absolutely. So, in terms of the people that are in the profession right now, I would imagine because there was when COVID happened, we lost a lot of folks at that time too, right? So, I mean, a lot of spaces left at that point, and not all of them came back. So,
Correct.
I would imagine we're still not necessarily reeling, but feeling the effects at least of some of that stuff too.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what are some of the other pieces of the action plan that you guys are putting into place?
We have two others within early childhood, and those both had to do with just a lack of awareness of the resources available to our community. And so that's around the United Way 211 database, and then also Sangamon Heart, and it holds our IRIS database. And so both of those is around a communication campaign, some flyers that we've been able to develop together with both of those entities that we were able to give to our chambers. So when new members move into the community, they're aware of that they can access both of these to be better informed about the resources that are there for them. So again, it goes back to just better communication as a community. And then these only work if we can get our nonprofits enrolled in these.
Right.
So then also communicating with our nonprofits that, like, hey, if you're not aware of these, this is what they do, this is how it benefits you, and then also benefits our community because then they themselves as family and caregivers can access these as well.
Can you expand a little bit on those databases like the United Way 211? If somebody's out there that doesn't know what
Absolutely.
that is, what is that?
So 211 is a live person. You can text it, you can call it, and you can let them know, what are you experiencing? Is it you're looking for housing? You need utilities, food insecurity? Are you looking for a pediatrician? Any type of resource that you're looking for, they can search the database for you and then text it to you, or they can email it to you directly. And then you can also let them know a radius. Is it 5 miles that you can get to 10? And then it's also within a website too. So then you could go to it and search the website. But again, it's only successful as the nonprofits that are within the directory. And then with Sangamon Heart, that one is beneficial for the nonprofits because it's a referral database.
Oh, gotcha.
So our pediatricians are in it, our social workers on nonprofits, and they can make immediate referrals to any of the nonprofits, the pediatricians that are in it. And so that has been beautiful because just within this year, almost 2,000 successful referrals have
Oh,
been
wow.
made. Yes. And so love to see again the collaboration come together and knowing that the families and the children are getting the immediate referrals that they need and they're successful.
Going back to the workforce side, I know we talked about, getting to the younger folks to get them interested, but are there any resources for maybe career changers, people that are older wanting to get into early childhood and be a teacher? Are there any resources out there, funding opportunities and things like that for folks?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are able to connect them with what's called gateways of opportunity. That's where they can see what different scholarships are available. And then we also collaborate with Illinois WorkNet.
Mhm.
There's multiple different resources there to support them if they are looking to change their career and go into early childhood. That'll let them know where they can go back to school and potentially it be free, potentially get some free childcare
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
well.
WorkNet has a lot of resources for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've been collaborating with them. So love that you brought that up.
Yeah, WorkNet, if anybody's not familiar with them, if you are looking for education and training, if you qualify, there could be funding available for you. And like she said, it might not be just tuition, it could be tuition and potentially childcare and some other things to make sure they give you every opportunity to be successful. So that's somewhere to look for if you're looking to get trained.
Yes.
So, what about the mental health side? What part of the action plan is going down the mental health side?
When we were able to start our mental and behavioral health, our community has just taken it and they have just ran with it. It has been beautiful. And so, what we found out, unfortunately, is in our community, when we're looking at our 0 to 8-year-olds, sometimes there's a year to 2 year wait list for them to get in. And that's when we're also talking about getting a diagnosis, though, too. And so, with that information, our council members in our community are like, what can we do in the meantime for our families and our professionals that are working directly with our youth? Like, what can that look like? And so they came up with the solution of, are there education? Is there trainings? Is there curriculum? And how can we saturate our community with this information? So we have over 40 different organizations that we're working with
Wow.
that have come together. They've kind of called themselves a mental health coalition. And we've developed, I say we, but I have an amazing staff member. Her name's Amber Walters. And she has put together these beautiful toolkits. And they will inform our community on everything for community members, everything for families, and everything for our early childhood, like social work professionals.
Mhm.
So that a way, while they're working with these youth or your child is on this wait list, you have the supports that you need to get some additional training or education session or curriculum.
Mm.
So those are hopefully going to go live within the next 2 weeks.
Awesome.
And it's just, again, been beautiful to see this coalition come together. Again, it's over 40 different organizations. Some are statewide, some are
Mhm.
here locally within Menard and Sangamon counties. And that's been just amazing to see. And then our number 2 recommendation is around support groups. And we are working with Sangamon County ROSC, and they already had a directory put together. And that is because of this long wait list, we wanted some additional supports. And so they came up with support groups. Like, we
Mhm.
need this running list, we need a website. But because we collaborate, right? We don't want people siloed and we're having conversations.
Right.
They already had a directory. It was online. It's in a paper book, and they had a section for support groups. But what we looked at was that we had some that we were already working with, and some of them weren't in their directory. So what we've done with a work group and Sangamon County Ross is we've co-created a survey
Okay.
that's going to go out. So are there additional gaps? What support groups do you know of? What additional support groups do you need? It's only 10 questions, and that's going to go out to everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, what you need within your community, you'll be able to fill this survey out. And then the idea is, how can we fill these gaps with these research-based supports that already have support groups, so that a way we can fill the gaps. So that was the second recommendation, and it's almost complete, right?
Nice. Yeah, absolutely.
And then the third recommendation is around workforce. So understanding that we may not be losing a lot of the workforce, but we need more. Yes, it's a statewide and a national concern, but here in Menard and Sangamon counties, we really want to focus on how can we get more and in all the different areas when we're talking about mental and behavioral health. And so we will be working with Illinois Behavioral Health Workforce Center, and they are creating everything we need: the videos, the flyers, the social media content, the brochures. And then they'll be going with us, like Lincoln Land did for the early childhood workforce, to go talk to the junior high and high school students. So that's moving along smoothly. Excited to see where this is going to take place. So, mental and behavioral health is moving just as smoothly as early childhood, if not faster.
Well, you mentioned Amber a little bit ago. Shout out to Amber. She does phenomenal work over at the Salvation Army too, right? I did some work with
Yes.
her over there. Good
Yes.
stuff.
I
Yeah.
love to hear that. Yeah.
So what are some of the other outreach pieces that you're doing right now to be able to get this information out to everybody?
So, the biggest way that we really do this is with our council members. We really empower them to go out in community and share their stories, the stories of the work that they're doing through the impact of the action plan. And they're also able to go out with us in community. We do a lot with our elected officials too. So they go to the Capitol, and that's the other way that they're able to share our stories. And that's extremely impactful. So anytime that they're able to share their why, share their stories, is the movement of sharing what is Birth to 5 Illinois, what is the work that has been taking place with the action plans. And that's a big way that we're able to get that out there to make the impact. And then we're always in community. That's who we are and what we do. We do a lot of community outreach at family events. Anytime that we can go and do community meetings, like go to other nonprofits and let them know who we are and what we do and how we can partner better together. That's another way that we do that as well, and how they can join the action plans. Because honestly, every nonprofit can have a piece of the action plan. I don't think anyone out there cannot be a part of it. Everyone can do the work that we're doing for sure.
Awesome. So it's been around for 3 years. Is this going to be an ongoing initiative, or once you get the action plans done, do we transition to something else, or will this be ongoing?
So I really think that this is ongoing because we have identified multiple different recommendations, the council and the community, and we call it continuous quality improvement. So as you are always looking at your community and the needs, and when you solve a problem, you identify like 10 more.
Typically uncover
right?
some more, right?
I mean, that's how it works. Hate that, but love it at the same time, because we want our community to be the best that it can be for our family and our children, right? We always say that we're no longer initiative. We are here to be here for our community, and we're going to serve them.
Give the Sangamon Menard County here, you Springfield. What are those top 3 things they would contact you about?
Awesome. You can contact us if you want to be a part of the action plan work that we're doing. If you would like to join the Family Council or the Action Council, and if you want to learn more, absolutely get a hold of us. That would be the top 3.
All right. And where can they go to do that?
So to get a hold of us, they simply go to www.birthtofiveil.com/region 51.
Good deal. All right. Well, we're going to let Ashley get back to elevating Springfield, but for the rest of y'all, we'll be right back.
Look, I get it. Mortgages sound boring until you realize you need one, and suddenly you're neck deep in paperwork. Googling terms like escrow and DTI like you're studying for a finance exam you didn't sign up for. I'm Fred Weber at 217 Mortgage. I break it down like a real human, not a robot in a tie. VA loans, first-time homebuyer, refi, I've got you. Local, fast, and yes, I answer my phone. 217 Mortgage, because adulting is hard enough.
Equal Housing Opportunity, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, Department of Financial and Professional Regulation, NMLS number 6606, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Conditions and restrictions apply. This is not a loan commitment or guarantee of any kind. All mortgage loan products are subject to credit and property approval. New American Funding, LLC, all rights reserved. Corporate office 14511, Myford Road, Suite 100, Tustin, California 92780. Phone number 1-800-450-2010, NAF.com.
Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. It would certainly appreciate you checking us out on social. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. You can check my personal pages out at Robert Farrell, at everywhere. You can check out the Elevate Springfield pages as well. Head over to YouTube, my personal channel at Robert Farrell. Give us a subscribe over there. Good place for you to go and see all the clips from the show in one convenient package. So thank you to KJ Kinsella from Illinois Patriots for spending some time with us today. Phenomenal thing he's doing there with kids, developing some great ball players and just great human beings in general. Thank you to Ashley Earls from Birth to 5 Illinois for stopping by and talking about the resources that they have available to the community. But take what you learned today. You bring the discipline and follow through. And together, that's right, y'all, we're going to elevate Springfield. Be great.
Big dog, if you're doing some remodeling or redesign and build, come and see our showroom. No one does it like we will. Call Big Dog, Big Dog. Let us do it once, and then you're gonna see you'll wanna be a part of the Big Dog family. Call Big Dog, Big Dog. If you want the job done and you want it done right, call 8332 Big Dog.
Your local Window Depot USA.